Silverstone, a track known for many, many things, and it has been around for a very, very long time. To say that there isn't good racing at Silverstone is criminal, to be frank with you. And today we've hopped in the time machine before Silverstone was repaved and redone to Silverstone 2005. Because today we are learning how to drift Virtual Drift Championships Silverstone 2005 Layout A. Now this track is very near and dear to my heart, to be quite frank, because it's the first round I podiumed in VDC. I've been doing VDC for a couple years and I haven't won an event, but at this track, Silverstone 2005, I got my first podium. I got third. I took out reigning champion and now current champion, Zach O'Sullivan. So very, very cool event. The final four were all my friends, the good people I used to play Forza with. So it's very sentimental. It's very cool, especially when all the homies do well. You love to see people win. Let's take a look at this track, talk about all the nuances, and really dive in deep on how to drift this fantastic circuit. So we have our casual, normal VDC cones. As you can see here, you go through the cones. Now, before I recorded this, I was doing a little bit of testing and really trying to decide what is the best way to go about this run up. There's a couple ways you could do it, right? You could be like quarter throttle through the cones and then half throttle up until you get into your driving gear. But what I found to be the best is to be at about 80 to 100% throttle after the cones and just floor it up to your driving gear. So I launch in second and I'm up to fifth. That's my driving gear. My wheel speed, just to tell you, in fifth is 153 miles per hour. My initiation point is this yellow line. So this dictates the lead lane and the chase lane, but I like to use it as a place to light off the tires and start to flick into the first corner. On this track, in the first corner, you want to use absolutely zero handbrake. If you're using handbrake, you're doing something very incorrect. As you can see with the tires here that kind of disappear at the 3 cone, I'm not handbraking, I'm just flicking and using my momentum into this corner. Maybe a quick clutch, but for the most part, I am full throttle into this corner and initiating at the 3 cone. You want to be initiating at about 105 to 110 miles per hour. It's one of the fastest initiations in this game. You want to keep your tires through outer zone 1. You want to keep wide and start to move inwards towards inner clip 1. Now this track flows a lot. It's a lot of ebb and flow at this track, especially the first 2 corners, right? Want to use all your momentum, all your speed, and you can't use all of it, right? You can't go 110 through this corner because you will fly off, right? So you could carry a good amount of angle and just use the angle and a little bit of left foot brake to slow yourself down, stable out the car. As per usual, when you get to inner clips at VDC tracks, you want your front bumper to be grazing along the inner clip. You don't want to go through that inner clip. That would be a big no-no. So once you get through it, maintain angle. Don't pour on angle into this outer zone 2, right? You want to maintain angle. As you can see, I've dipped the tire off into the grass a few times, but ideally you want to be riding that white line, or you could go just beyond it like I've done multiple times. You want to stay wide and you want to push off that zone and transition. I'd say track right. So see where this white line is. Use this as a reference point to start to transition and have a nice big flick. You want to start to decel here, right? You want to use this yellow line as a reference point. That's what these are on the VDC tracks, if you didn't know. This is where your rear tires should be, either just barely in front of it or just barely behind it, but ideally riding over the yellow line, which brings you into this outer zone 3. Now here, super easy to dip a tire. You could be carrying too much speed, or you could be going too wide like I was. As you can see, my tire marks are not great. And you dip a tire, throws you off. You don't want to do that, right? So you want to use your reference point off of this yellow dash, I guess we'll call it, yellow line. You want to move the rear tires and just barely be on the track edge, right? You want to ride this white line all the way out, right? And again, you want to have good angle here and start to maybe even pour on a little bit of angle. I know I say you shouldn't do that, but on this corner, it's okay if you do a little bit just because of the natural trajectory of it. And then we push off this zone into outer zone 4. I like to transition mid-track into outer zone 4. Now here, again, super easy to dip a tire if you're carrying too much speed. I like to use a lot of angle here. So push off, transition mid-track, float the car out here, the tires on that white line, then come through outer zone 4. And again, transition mid-track, a lot of mid-track transitions on this course into outer zone 5. Now, outer zone 5 seems easy, right? You transition mid-track, you pull a handbrake a couple times, or you dip in the clutch to slow the car down, and then you just get on power and you get through this corner. However, as you can see, it's super easy to miscalculate this corner and dip tires over the white line. And tires over the white line is technically off course. So multiple times of trying to record the driving clip for this video, I dipped 2 tires off the white line, which would indicate a 0. So as a reference, I like to keep my tires about, 6 to 12 inches off of the white line and then get on throttle. And as the natural trajectory of this corner, it will just allow me to float to the white line, which has worked out pretty well for me. From there, you want to keep consistent angle. Once again, a little bit of throttle manipulation just to keep that outer white line. Then you want to push off this zone, keep wide, transition mid-track once again. And here we have another reference point. On this one, I would say you'd want your tires more behind it than in front of it, right? Ideally, you want them over it. That will line you up the best. But if you have to, push behind. Just because this corner, you can have a wide arc and get into the corner well. But if you're too inside, it's going to look pretty awkward. So here we have outer zone 6. And again, this corner, super easy to dip a tire off, right? You want to keep consistent angle and actually start to pour on a little more angle towards the end. I like to not be full throttle, just because if I am, it'll push me wide, right? So feathering the throttle a little bit, allowing myself to have a consistent line, be very smooth on this course. That's another big thing. If you're smooth, you're going to do just fine. And continue wide through the corner. I'd say transition off of this zone at about this blue curbing, so the second blue tile, into our outer zone 7. Now here, again, super easy to drop a tire. I would honestly try to be more inside than to dip a tire and risk it, because if you dip a tire, you're going to run wide through this inner clip in the last outer zone. Honestly, if you're a few inches off of this zone, so like not on the white line, as you can see, I think that's going to benefit you more, because your trajectory into the last inner clip in the last zone will be a lot better. So through this zone, transition, get on the brakes, get on the foot brake, e-brake, whatever it is, slow the car down and have a nice smooth arc, lots of angle through this zone. It should just push you out wide, start to wind out angle here through the last outer zone. Now here, it is okay to drop a tire onto the curb, but not onto this green bit right here. Just because if you do, it's not going to give you any benefit. It's not going to, make you run away from the chase. It's just going to make you drive the course better, to be honest with you. And that, my friends, is our track walk of Silverstone 2005, the VDC layout, of course. Now, let's take a look at a driving clip and dive in a little deeper on the driving in context, if you will. So let's take a dive into how to actually drive this course. So as I said, I like to be full throttle, flat foot shift up to 5th, and flick into this corner, again, initiating at the 3 cone and using all my momentum. You see, no handbrake, full throttle through the first outer zone, first inner clip, second outer zone, transition right where that white line is, right? You want to be initiating using that reference point right there, hit it really nicely. And here, I didn't go off track. which is very nice, very good, very mindful. Then we hit the next outer zone, and this outer zone as well. And here, again, handbrake. Want to get on throttle pretty soon, just so you don't go out wide. Here, I do a pretty good job at it. I was struggling at it all day. Transition mid-track, really quick flick. Really nailed that reference point into this outer zone. And here, as I said before, just feather the throttle, get out there, transition track right into this clip. Actually did it pretty well. I thought I was a little shallow. Hit this inner clip and then finish out the track. That, my friends, is how you drive this course. It's very tricky, very fun. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I do a Learn to Drift every single week, at least I hope to. So make sure to subscribe. Tune in next week for another Learn to Drift. And if you want a track to be broken down, leave it down in the comments below. And with that said, I'll catch you in the next video. Take care now.